Today is November the 4th, the day the world's supposed to come to an end. I'm glad I'm down here in the country so that I can be just working on projects and whatnot. So last week as I was driving down, I mentioned Renogy, the frame that I bought for my solar panel. So one of the projects that you haven't seen yet, I'm going to thread it into this video, that I did accomplish last week, was I took the tube, the Quickcrete tube, and I put it in a hole. While Dad was here and we redug the foundation holes for the cabin build, I also had him do a big hole, a little bigger than this. This is 12 inches in diameter. So we dug it out about 16 inches so that I could get it down in the ground, get it level, filled it full of concrete and rebarb and a couple of J-bolts. The bracket system itself came with a U-bolt, and I think I mentioned it in the drive down that I decided to go with J-bolts, and that's what I did. I'm a little off center inside the tube itself, the foundation tube, pillar, pylon, whatever you want to call it. But I think it'll be okay. So what I'm doing now is I came down to grab a battery out of the pole barn here for the big truss system and steel beam that goes up. It's kind of like an I-beam, but pretty detailed instructions. Should be fairly simple, I hope. But this is what it will look like when it's finished. Hopefully you can see that. And then your 4 panels go on top of that. Right now I only have 2, so I'm going to have to order a couple more panels. And that is hopefully what we end up with. So let's get started. So when I got here yesterday, I did not come down to the pond. Turn the radio down a little bit. It was a little late on Friday, yesterday the 3rd, when I arrived here at the Alibi. I usually go straight down to the trail cameras, which I mentioned in a couple of previous videos, but the reason I did not was because it was around 5 o'clock and most of the deer seem to be moving between 5 and 7 o'clock right before the sun goes down. Of course, the time sets back tonight, and so I'm anxious to get and take a look at the trail cameras today. But we're going down a little side road here, and I'll show you the pillar that I set in the ground that is hopefully going to support the solar panels. And everything is still there. Let me turn this around so you can see. It might be a little bit of a blur or brightness because of the sun, but you can probably see that concrete form there. And we're going to get busy and see if we can't get it set up. Well, that stinks. All that work last weekend, which hasn't even been posted yet, didn't work, and it's my fault again. This is a learning process for me. I'm sure I look lovely. Got in a hurry, put too much concrete in the bottom of the form, and I don't think the water ever really penetrated it, and it just hardened on the top. So as I thread all this together, you'll hear mumbo jumbo from the various times that I was monkeying with it. You know, oddly enough, it's November the 4th, and normally down here I hear chipmunks and squirrels and birds and ducks, fish flopping in the pond, chasing bullfrogs. Right before I got back in the truck, after I figured out that this wasn't going to work, to cool off a little bit, I heard some sirens in the off in the distance. Yeah, by the time this posts on November 4th, it may not be anything, but I don't know. Been here 3 years and I don't think I've ever heard a siren, and then today on November 4th, in the background noise, I hear a siren as I'm getting in the truck. Anyway, going to get the tractor and dig the concrete out of the ground. Here goes nothing. some of the water got through, and I'm starting to get to the bottom. See where, if you remember where I put the gravel from the driveway in the bottom, I might be able to salvage this. There's a piece of the gravel. I might be able to salvage this altogether. And just go get the other tube, the other half, and do it right. A little bit at a time. Get it soupy like I should have done before. So that's good news. I've gotten most of that out. Okay, so here's the new thought process. You get this new tube in the old hole with the gravel and the concrete, and I've got more bags of concrete if I need it, and water in the bucket. Aha! Perfect. Perfect. That could not be any better. And what did I do with that J-bolt? Because I'm going to use that J-bolt, the bent one. I'm going to use this with the original U-bolt that came with the array. So I thought here, just to put that sucker in there like that. If I could bend that just a little more, I'd feel better about it. Let's see. Perfect. Here goes nothing. that. You know, the one thing that does concern me is how easy the other one came up. Now granted, I didn't have the concrete hard at the bottom, so that may be part of the reason why. But all through here, running down this hill, the ponds on the other side, there's underground streams. And in the summer, this ground does get really, really hard. But anytime it rains, the water table comes up. And I'm curious if that's going to affect this or not. I think I'm deep enough. I'm 24 inches deep. And then of that 24, I'd say I'm 20 inches deep and then about 4 inches above the ground. But this is already setting up a hell of a lot better than the first one that I did. I thought while I was waiting on it to set up, take a little break and do some fishing.